As we come to our time of shared meditation, will you pray with me and for me that all that love asks of me in this moment, that asks of us in this moment, is where we will be led. As we center in, I invite you to let the wave of your breath in and out bring you into the voice of love in your own heart. Sense yourself held, physically held, whatever is supporting your body. Let your body soften into it, surrendering tension, softening, inviting. In this moment, in this place, there is only love. Love that heals. Love that sets us free. Can you picture that light of 1,000 angels? Flowing in and out of you with your breath. Merging, dancing with the light next to you in this room, with the light beyond this room. Merging into all of the places in the world that cry out for love and compassion, for mercy, for peace. Let our love shine forth with no separation, no division. Part of the fabric of that blanket we put over the mystery to give it shape. in this place, in this moment, we come back fully aware of where we are, of who we are. And so it is. We envision a world transformed by the spiritual awakening of us all. When we are spiritually awake, stepping into our full spiritual maturity, we choose love in all actions. We have a beautiful banner over here that says it's all about love. That 4-letter word. It means everything. And like the synonym for that other little word, God, both can be so overworked, so overused that they sometimes feel meaningless. So on this third Sunday of Advent, when we circle again that rhythm of Advent, that we move from hope and faith every year, the same themes, we circle around again. Hope and faith, peace, love, and next week, joy. My own curiosity this week has pointed to love not only as it expresses in the closeness of relationship. I am blessed with a loving family. Eli and his grown-ups took me to get a tree yesterday. Love was so easy as I chased a 4-year-old around in the snow. I know that is a blessing and a privilege, but I'm also curious then about how love shows up or does not show up in the public realm as a public good. We know one of the reasons we come together here is that the love that grounds us as a community is more than an emotion. It's more than a warm, soft feeling. It is sometimes that. It is actually often that feeling. But it is more than that. Love that is muscular and resilient. Love as a way of being, as a verb that calls us into being and into doing, is available in our personal lives, sometimes easily and sometimes as really hard work. And that's the same here in our own community. There's that dance, right, between what I need, what we each need, and what somebody else needs. I love when I officiate a wedding to remind a couple that you think that it's 50-50, and it's not. It's 100% of what you each have to give, but sometimes the 100% that you have to give feels like 28% to somebody else. That's the dance of relationship in our intimate circles, more than an easy way of feeling that outrush of emotion. From the gospel attributed to Mark. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. In conversation with that mandate then this week, I felt, jumping back to hope and faith, that quote by Maya Angelou. Hope and fear cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Invite one to stay. So my question to myself this week, in the ups and downs of what that looked like in my life, is, can love and fear, or peace and fear, joy and fear, occupy the same space at the same time? The piece that pulls at me is the at the same time, because I actually do believe that sometimes those things that feel so oppositional, such a binary way of looking at an either or, sometimes really to me feel like a yes and. But it's how much weight am I giving at any given time? How much space is that occupying in my heart? Into my grappling, I found words about an anatomy of fear that really resonated. Reverend Cameron Trimble is someone that I've been following her writings, and this landed with me. So here, for me, is where it landed, not only in my own life and my close relationships, but when I think about what is happening in the world around us. An anatomy of fear. She writes about it as more than an emotion, just like love is more than an emotion. So we tend to imagine fear as a feeling, a tremor in the chest, right? That heart pounding, a tightening in the gut. But fear is more than an emotion, it's an architecture. Fear builds rooms inside us and then convinces us we are safer when we stay locked in. Fear is an architecture. Where this pushed me is in the next part, where she writes, nations do this too. Fear gives order to the anxious heart of empire. It arranges hierarchies, labels danger, and builds policies around preservation, not of life, but of control. When leaders worship fear, they build walls instead of bridges and call it security. They criminalize difference and call it peace. Spiritually, fear is what happens when our imagination of God shrinks. When the infinite becomes tribal, when love is rationed, we forget that belonging is not a zero-sum game. Fear is the failure to remember who we are. Beings woven of dust and divinity, designed for connection, not domination. Those words are added to the growing list of little scraps of paper on my refrigerator to remind me that fear is the failure to remember who we are. When leaders worship fear, how many examples of this do we face today? in our own country, around the world. That never-ending list. In fact, our dear Dennis just handed me a slip of paper. The United States has exported gun violence to a country like Australia, where 30 Jews who were celebrating Hanukkah were just murdered. Yesterday, I watched a video of flooding in Gaza, where people have fabric tents. Almost 750,000 people are in danger of losing even what little they have held under canvas fabric tents. Here in our own country, on the 12th of December, it was the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, one of the most vibrant, beautiful celebrations, and many communities at our southern border towns canceled their festivities out of fear. The daily news feed is a never-ending list of atrocities, of blind allegiance to greed and cruelty, and seemingly willful ignorance of our interconnectedness. Every week I hit a moment where I think I just can't do it on Sunday. I have no idea. What can I say in the face of all of this? That doesn't mean I have to admit to the salty language that I use in my private life. I can admit to it, I just don't want to share it. In the face of people who are hungry, who don't have homes, or who have homes that will be washed away in flooding, people who are afraid of losing their health care, immigrant neighbors who are disappeared. When our leaders are allied with aggressors and dictators and abusers, what does love look like in the public realm? But I do come back to hope and fear cannot occupy the same space at the same time. And fear is the failure to remember who we are. Who are we? Let us love not in word or speech, but in truth and action, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. Love as a foundation in our personal lives and here in our Unity family means nurturing our close relationships. Nurturing. Love, then, is a series of decisions, a series of choices. We're not going to sing Love Is My Decision today, but it's a series of choices that we make to show up, to have our default setting, our normal setting, be kindness, generosity of spirit, to trust. Love in truth and action means even our words, right? Let us love not in word or speech, but if we have to speak, let our words come with clarity and discernment. Let us be those blessed peacemakers who speak truth, who show up in truth when leaders worship fear. Love in this deep sense means we listen with not only open ears, but with an open heart. And also with enough self-love and self-compassion that we can hold a boundary. And we can respect the boundaries of those that we are in relationship with, because that is also love. Easy to say, really challenging to live. Reverend Trimble writes, again in this An Anatomy of Fear, about our transformation from fear to freedom. This transformation doesn't happen by denial. It begins with reverent attention. Notice where fear is whispering. Don't speak. Don't risk. Don't love. And then gently but firmly disobey. Don't speak. Don't risk. Don't love. The mystics across tradition, she reminds us, teach that courage is not the absence of fear. Have you heard that before? Courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to give it authority. It cannot occupy the space forever, but we give it reverent attention. Those things that break our hearts are not to be ignored. Our fears are not to be ignored. Giving them attention is information. It's a way of listening to the voice of God. And I love the way Trimble writes about this. It then is our faith. It is not a belief in doctrine. When we listen to that voice, when we feel what angers and frightens us, and we just quietly, gently say, no, I'm not going to obey you. I notice you and I can hold you. Faith then, as she writes, is a participation in the deeper current of reality that is love. We have fears. We have holy heartbreak. I am aware of the things that make my heart fire in rage right now. Rage that is related to grief and feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. But when I step into participation in that deeper current of reality that is love, that is source, that is God, that drives out fear not by force, but by presence. It's true in our personal lives. When we are present with each other, any fear that is there is just to give us some idea of what is important to us. Can we feel it and listen and not let it take control? Imagine now a world where in the public realm, our leaders do not worship fear. Our leaders are part of that current of reality that is love. And then look at yourself in the mirror, because you are that leader. You are that person in the world who shows up living from that deeper current of reality that is love. And then you touch every circle that circles around you. Love is not that Hallmark Christmas movie version of meet cute, have a little issue, get over it, and live happily ever after. They're fun to watch on a snowy Sunday evening. Love is more than a 4-letter word. So arise, walk forth, get up, get going, choose love, be the blessing, gently disobey your own fears, dismantle empire's architecture of fear. Mindful, compassionate love in action grows from reverent attention to our fears, to our holy heartbreak, to our beloveds. Reverent attention. That participation in the deeper current of love deepens our faith, and it helps us answer these questions for ourselves. What is mine to do? What is mine to do in the face of a world that has forgotten it is the incarnation of light? That it is the incarnation of love. So let us bring our presence, our voices, our hands, our hearts, our fears into the healing work that then also heals us. As we step forth in that healing light, we then are also healed. Let us love, not in words or speech alone, but in truth and action. For love comes from God. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. You are the incarnation of love. Be it. Know it, be it. Be the incarnation of love that you are born to be. And so